Yo, what's going on, guys? Dungeon Tank here, and I have a spicy cubic deck profile. Of course, with replays. So, here it is. So, the first matchup is Trickstars. He opens all monsters. Draw 2 cards, Search of Karma, bring out the big boy, burn for 3k. And Indulgence is actually really good in this deck because you don't even really need the extra deck at all. And he just does his searches. Just goes off with all of those. I don't really care because it does nothing to him. Burns me with all the draw power. Plus also had the Jom set. Cubic Wave. I get burned. Attack for game. And even if he went into something like Boral Sword or Boar Load or whatever, it's like, first off, he's unaffected by the monster effects to original attacker 3,000 or less, so they'd have to hit me with Boral Sword. And on top of that, I have the Jom, so they won't really be able to do much more damage than that. And I did a second match with the Trickstars. So he went first this time. Just gets all of his searches off. Special summons that. And he has Reincarnation, which, the funny thing about Reincarnation is that it's kind of an awkward card to use against this deck right here. Because there's like not really an optimal time to really use it. Except for maybe right now. So I just Summoner Monk. Special summon effect. Go into Phoenix to blow that up, since I wasn't able to bait it out. And I basically just get all my searches so I can go into the dark Cubic Lord. And I think the artwork on this is pretty dope also. It's one of my favorite artworks. So he just activates the hand trap again, doesn't really matter. I get to attack twice, 6k damage, plus Phoenix, plus 3k burn in the end phase. So, yeah. And let's see, we got Vampires. So he goes first. Gets all of his searches and special summons off. Can't really do anything, so he has 2 Ash Blossoms, which is pretty good. Desires, Ash, Call by the Grave. Doesn't really matter to me. I think I actually banished both of my Dark Lords. Yeah. So I only have one this game. But I can still special summon it. Use Karma, because why not? Use him. Why not? Get the search. Battle phase attack. Second attack. It's game. And he just scoops, of course. I mean, there's not really much you can do. Then we got Cubics versus Galaxy Eyes. So he uses these Galaxy cards that I've never really seen before. Goes into Photon Dragon. Bring out this guy. Cubic Wave. Tried to use his effect but got ashed. Karma. Send the V-Jom. Attack. Attack. It's like, doesn't do anything because of his effect. Unaffected by any monster's original attack is 3,000 or less. Burn for game. So yeah, Cubics are really strong in regards to being able to get plays off like that. But otherwise, here's the deck profile. So I also have Grinder Golem in here. You never actually got to really see me get it off, because with Cubics, most of the times you actually just, like, if they go first, you go second, you basically want to just bring out this guy and win. Which, since you have Cubic Karma, you can just search out any Cubic cards, and with Summoner Monk, you can pitch this to special summon this to dump one, so you get 2 searches, and you get 3 Foolish Burial Goods because it's good, and the 3 Indulgence is pretty dope also. And I used to run the Magical Contract Door, but I replaced it with Scapegoats. You can't really go wrong with either one, because when you activate this, give them like a Cubic Karma, they can't do anything with it, but I kind of like Scapegoat better, just in case the match ends up going longer than you want it to be. because, like I said, you want to basically kill them instantly. And, you know, of course, Grinder Golem's always fun. You just, like, keep special summoning him, and then you basically go into this, and then you go into this, and then you have, like, Firewall Dragon, and you basically just make do a bunch of shenanigans. And, yeah, but otherwise, like, all these cards are actually relatively good. Like, usually, worst case scenario, you just set VJOM and just set on VJOM, which you can occasionally do since you can't be destroyed by battle. And I've actually never brought out this, or any of the other cubic monsters. I've never brought them out before. But, you know, I guess, I'm assuming they're, like, half decent. I don't really know. 2 Caught by the Grave, why not? And Red Reboot. So, the Red Reboot's actually in the main deck, just 2 of them. Because if you go up against, like, a Paleo player and they, like, do all their shenanigans, if you can Red Reboot them, instead of going up against a Paleo player and being, like, completely destroyed because they have so many main deck outs to this card right here, it's like you just Red Reboot them. They have no if they have no response, or even if they have Toad, they can't negate it because it's a counter trap. It just gets to a point to where it's like you basically just bring this out right here and you just win pretty much. So it's really strong in regards to that. You know, all these cards right here are pretty strong. Part of me almost wants another Summoner Monk, because Summoner Monk is actually pretty strong, because it can pitch dead spells in your hand. It also can pitch Cubic Karma, which lets you basically get searches, which is how you can pretty consistently get this card right here off. You know, which this deck right here is actually pretty good. You might be able to actually, you know, like, get a surprise win at the locals or something like that. Otherwise, like, once people actually know what you're playing, it just gets to a point to where it's like it doesn't really work as well once people know what you're playing. When they know that you're playing cubics, it's just like, oh yeah, well, I'll just let this guy go first. Because even if you bring this out going first and burn them for 3k, it doesn't really do much after that. The Scapegoat would be half decent though, at least. But otherwise, if you're actually playing this in real life, I suppose you could cut one of the Indulgences for another Desires, and possibly put in like an Upstart Goblin or something. And, you know, you'd basically have to kind of like work around this a little bit. Which, if the locals you go to, if you know that they have... And also you could put a 3rd Summoner Monk, so that'd probably be pretty optimal. And if you know your locals pretty well, and you know a lot of people run like trap-heavy decks, you could bump this up right here to 3 in the main deck. Possibly add in like 1 or 2 Twin Twisters. And you'd probably do like pretty decent. You know, otherwise I don't run the Fusion at all because you don't really ever make it because it requires 3 of these. Let me look it up real quick. So yeah, it requires 3 Crimson Nova, the Dark Cubic Lord, and it's like you get one of these out, especially if you get it out with Cubic Wave, you basically just win. Like most people cannot deal with it, so you usually just end up winning. So yeah, I mean, you know, this is pretty much the deck profile. It's actually pretty fun to play. Like, cubics are pretty cool. It's pretty consistent. So when Pot of Indulgence comes out, this deck's going to be pretty interesting because, you know, draw 2 cards. Even though you don't get other draw cards this turn, I mean, that just means, like, no Desires. But, you know, Summoner Monk plus the Searches are still good to go. So that's really interesting because, in a way, Pot of Indulgence is, like, a really good card, but it's also not that great. But in a deck like this, it actually works out pretty damn well. But yeah, guys, like, this is actually a pretty fun deck to play. You know, got a lot of surprise wins. Like, it's definitely worth at least trying online, and all the cubic cards are pretty cheap also, so it would be relatively budget. You know, of course, like, maybe minus Grinder Golem and some extra deck cards, and however much this will end up being when it comes out. But yeah, you know, if you guys like the deck profile, let me know what you think. You know, if you think there's any ways it can actually be improved, let me know. Otherwise, Dungeon Hunter Tank, signing out.